as you said, it was a trust issue. But then again, this trust missight would have never happened in a traditional financial market. And you and I both know that. Even internationally, in any G30 country, something this epic proportions probably in this day and age would have been hard to pull off. Of course, it did happen as recently as 10, 12 years ago in other places, but it would have been hard. But since this was crypto, it was a different ballgame for a variety of reasons. And maybe we can dive into them. First of all, this was located in the Bahamas, because nobody was sure about if they wanted to be in the U.S. And a lot of people have blamed the SEC for lack of clarity. I don't know if that's fair or not. I'm curious what you think. Also, it was a new asset class with a new 30-year-old CEO who seemed to be smarter than everybody, and they were driving it forward. And I remember a couple of years ago, Chris, when I really dove into this space, I remember thinking, what is Alameda Research? It sounds like, I don't know, weird, some scientific firm, or is it some like startup investing firm? It was never really clear what was going on, and everything was moving so fast that I don't think anyone had the time to check. And so, what were the failing points? And then maybe finally, how do you regulate this asset? Because you work for the CFTC, the SEC is involved, but even both of those institutions used to regulate these older type of instruments, and you just said it's almost like a railway. It's an algorithm. It's not clear what it actually is, crypto.
Yeah, so Brian, fascinatingly, I think you just cataloged all the failures. Let me actually identify, however, the one pocket of the whole thing that didn't fail. And the one pocket that didn't fail was the piece that was under traditional regulation, which was CFTC regulation of derivatives. So the piece that didn't fail and still is operating well today is the Bitcoin futures market. It remains liquid, it remains active, it remains transparent, it's operating. That's in the asset class. As far as the FTX empire, the one piece that didn't fail was their ownership of FTX US, which is the old LedgerX, which is a regulated derivatives platform under CFTC regulation. And it's the asset that, from what I hear, people are hoping to buy out of bankruptcy and operate because it didn't fail. It's functioned well. Now, the reason I say that is not to toot the horn of the CFTC, but to say that these old regulatory frameworks, if they are updated and repurposed, can serve rather well. I do believe, and I've long been an advocate for a bespoke set of regulation in the US for crypto. That doesn't mean new regulators, but new statutory authorities. But until we get there, regulators can repurpose old rule books. And we did that at the CFTC in 2017 when we greenlighted Bitcoin futures, which has worked well. Subsequent to that, the licensure of LedgerX, which was subsequently bought by FTX, and continues to operate without failure. So I'm a believer that with the right vision and repurposing, legacy regulatory frameworks can be repurposed. And ultimately, at the same time, I'm hoping that, again, on the U.S. side, that Congress steps in with bespoke legislation. And look what Europe's doing with MiCA legislation. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's got some challenges in it, but it shows that policymakers can look at this new architecture and design frameworks that are appropriate for it. And I think that's what we need to do more broadly.
All right. So a lot of people in crypto immediately pointed the finger at the SEC and said if they had been clearer, these entities, and then there's a lot of them worldwide, right? There's the Binances of the world, there's the Crypto.coms, there's the FTXs. They stayed specifically off American soil, which also meant no tax revenue, maybe less jobs, et cetera, because they said there was a lack of clarity from regulation, specifically from the SEC. Is that fair? And what is the way forward?
Yeah. So here's what I would say. When we looked at this during my time in office at the CFTC, we said this is a new asset class. There's a lot of challenges here. So our first job was to get smart about it. And in the spring of 2017, we launched something called Lab CFTC to make ourselves as smart as we could be about the new asset class. To the point where, I'll give you an anecdote, in the summer of 2017, we were doing synthetic Bitcoin mining in the chairman's conference room at the CFTC with all the commissioners present, just so we can understand what the concept was. Walk us through, the different concepts. So we were that's the degree to which we wanted to get smart about this. So by the time we were then faced with the choice of licensure and greenlighting the launch of Bitcoin futures, we had already gotten ourselves up the learning curve. I think that's duty number one of regulators. Get smart about it. Number two, recognize that technology has its own path forward. You can't stop the movement of time. You can't dictate market structure. What you have to do is follow the trends and direct it in a way that is beneficial to the marketplace, that brings out, that furthers the principles that your mission is focused on: fairness, transparency, honesty, integrity in markets. But follow the technology. Don't try to bottle it up and say, well, we like markets circa 1982, and therefore we're forever going to hold back innovation. So you've got to accept innovation in markets, not try to stifle it. I think that's principle number one that we tried to do at the CFTC. The other point is, once we realized that this was moving forward, what we said is, let's create a pathway that may be, in the case of crypto, we actually called it heightened scrutiny. We made the pathway slightly more challenging, actually not slightly, somewhat more challenging than a standard non-crypto product certification. But we said, look, the pathway is going to be at a slight incline over others, but we're going to light the pathway. We're going to tell you what it takes. We're not going to, operate in shadows, so you don't really know what the pathway forward is. At the CFTC, the pathway to greenlighting a Bitcoin futures, the pathway to getting a license for a crypto derivative exchange is clear. It may be difficult, but it's clear. And we felt it was our duty as regulators to say, we're not going to hide the ball. We're going to tell you where the path is. It may be a challenging one. It may require a higher degree of scrutiny. Our team is going to spend more time on your application than perhaps we would with a new wheat future contract or some sort of new metals future contract, which the agency has been looking at for 50 years. This is a new asset class, so the scrutiny is going to be tighter, but the pathway will be clear. And so I would say that's the third requirement of regulators, to clarify the pathway forward, not mystify it, clarify it. And I think we were successful in doing all three at the CFTC, and I think that should be the model, if I might say so, for other regulators. That is, get smart about it, clarify the pathway forward, and engage with the industry.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services.
Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?